Hello students, today we are going to learn about Stephen Hawking. 3.3, our lesson is 3.3 Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking, who was born in 8th January 1942 and died in 14 March 2018. He was the physicist and cosmologist, author and director of research. Okay, so before starting the lesson, let's see what is given in the warming up activities. The first activity is get into pairs and match the prominent personalities with the disabilities they had. There are given two columns. In A column there are given the personalities and in B column their disabilities. Okay, in A column let's see which are the personalities. First one is John Milton, second Beethoven, third Stephen Hawking, fourth Walt Disney, fifth Albert Einstein, sixth Thomas Edison, 7 Helen Keller, 8 Sudha Chandran, 9 Tanay Gray Thompson, 10 Franklin Roosevelt. Let's see now in detail. John Milton. John Milton was the great English poet who became blind at the age of 43 years. Means when John Milton was 43 years, he became blind. Beethoven, the great German composer. Who was Beethoven? He was the great German composer and musician who became deaf at the age of 28 years. When he became deaf at the age of 28 years. 3. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was the famous scientist of the 20th century who was paralyzed. Okay. Then Walt Disney. Walt Disney was an American entrepreneur, animator, voice actor, and he had learning disability. 5th, Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was the great 20th century scientist and noted physicist. Who was he? Great scientist as well as noted physicist, and he had learning disability. Then Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison was the great inventor and who has over 1000 patents and had learning disability and became deaf. Okay. Helen Keller. Helen Keller was blind and deaf. Sudha Chandran. Sudha Chandran, whose legs, actually she was the dancer, and whose legs had to be amputated because of an accident. Tanay Gray Thompson. Tanay Gray Thompson is a wheelchair racer. Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt had polio and was elected as the President of the United States for 4 terms. Okay, these are the big personalities, prominent personalities, and these in column B given their disabilities. Now let's see the second activity. What is given there? Word building. Here are given, means actually there are different ways of word formation, and here you have given 4 types of word formation. The first one is reduplication. What is meant by reduplication? Reduplication is the root or stem of a word that is repeated exactly the same or with a slight change. What is meant by reduplication? Where the root or stem word is repeated exactly the same or a slight change may be there. For example, tweet, tweet. No change means exactly the same. Peter, patter. Slight change in the vowel later. I, A. Chit, chat. Again, slight change in vowel. Okay. Bang, bang. The same one. And riff, rap. That means a slight change in vowel sounds. Okay. Second one is blending. This is the another way of word formation. How can we form here words? Blending means parts of two or more words combine to form a new one. In blending, what is done? Actually, parts of two or more words we can combine here to form a new one word. For example, if we take here two words, breakfast and lunch, it becomes brunch. Then smoke and fog, it becomes smog. Then motor and hotel, it becomes motel. Then lion and tiger, from these two words we can form here one word, that is liger. Okay. Next one way of word formation is clipping. What is mean by clipping? Let's see. In clipping, reducing a word to one of its syllables or a part of it. That means in clipping there is the reduction of a word to one of its syllables or a part of it. For example, mathematics. Mathematics, that becomes maths, means some here syllables are reduced. Okay. Advertisement. Advertisement is called as ad. Laboratory. Laboratory, it is called as lab. Then examination. Examination is called as exam. So this is the way of word formation, clipping. And the last one is acronym. Acronym means what? Let's see. Acronym. In acronym, words formed from the first letter of each of the words involved. That means there are given the shortened forms of the word or words. Okay. What is in acronym? Actually here the first letters of each of the words involved here, means shortened forms are given. For example, radar, scuba, UNICEF, NASA, BBC, CID, USA, ATM, VIP, DOB, KYC, PM, GN, TY, etc. Okay, these are the words. I will explain you some of them, and remaining words you should have to find out. That means their full forms you should have to find out. For example, scuba. What is meant by scuba? Scuba means self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. USA, United States America. ATM, automated teller machine. VIP, very important person. DOB, date of birth. PM, Prime Minister. GN, good night. These are the some forms of the words. The remaining one you will do that. Now let's see about Stephen Hawking. Who was Stephen Hawking? Stephen Hawking, who was born on 8th January 1942, means in the Second World War, and died in 14 March 2018. He was an English theoretical physicist. What is meant by physicist? Physicist means expert in physics. He was the cosmologist who here studies the science of, means here the origin and development of the universe, is called the cosmologist, who was also author and director of research at the Center of Theoretical Cosmology within the Cambridge University. Okay, who was Stephen Hawking? Stephen Hawking was the English theoretical physicist, then cosmologist, author and Director of Research. Where? Within the Cambridge University. And where is the Cambridge University? In London. Hawking was the first to set out a theory of cosmology explained by a union of the general theory of relativity and quantum machines. Hawking, who was the first one who set out, the theory of cosmology, and in it he explained by a, what is explained in that? Actually explained by a union of the general theory, that of relativity and quantum machines. Quantum mechanics means what? Quantum mechanics, this is the branch of physics which studies matter and energy of the level of atoms and other elementary. That is the quantum mechanics. Hawking is an honorary fellow of the Royal Society of Arts. Its acronym is FRSA. There are given some achievements of Stephen Hawking, who was the very honorable one. He was the honorary fellow of which one? Royal Society of Arts. And he was the lifetime member of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences also. This is one more thing that was also his big achievement. Then he was a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the highest civilian award in the US. What is the highest civilian award also he got in the US. Now let's see about the text. This lesson gives us an insight about the great scientist, his life and his works. Now what is given here in the text? There is given about information about the great scientist Stephen Hawking, about his life and about his important works. Now let's see the text in detail. Stephen Hawking, born January 8, Stephen Hawking, born January 8, 1942, is a British scientist, professor and author who has done groundbreaking work in physics and cosmology, and whose books have helped to make science accessible to everyone. At the age of 21, while studying cosmology at the University of Cambridge, he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, that means ALS. Part of his life story was depicted in the 2014 film The Theory of Everything. What is given here? Let's see. Stephen Hawking, who was born on 8 January 1942, who was a British scientist, professor and author, and who has done groundbreaking work in physics. Groundbreaking means finding out new things, or new or advanced or original one. That is called groundbreaking. Who was he? He was the British scientist, professor and author, and who has done new things, means new findings in new. He found out new things here in physics and cosmology. Cosmology means the science of the origin and development of the universe. And whose books? Stephen Hawking's books have helped to make science accessible. Accessible means within the reach of, or capable of being understood by. Means in these books Stephen Hawking helped to make science here capable of being understandable to everyone here. And when he was only 21 years old, while he was studying cosmology at the University of Cambridge in London, he was diagnosed here with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, that means ALS. What is meant by amyotrophic lateral sclerosis? This is a disease that causes the death of neurons which control voluntary muscles, that is called ALS or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Part of his life story that is depicted in the 2014 movie, and the name of the movie is The Theory of Everything. That means in the first one paragraph, the basic information of Stephen Hawking is given here. Over the years, Stephen Hawking has written or co-written a total of 15 books. A few of the most noteworthy include. Now here is given the information of his books. Stephen Hawking had written or co-written a total books 15. How many books he had written? 15 means written or co-written here, and few which are noteworthy, that means significant one, very interesting one, that are included and that are given here. Let's see about the next paragraph. In 1988, Hawking catapulted to international prominence with the publication of A Brief History of Time. The short, informative book became an account of cosmology for the masses and offered an overview of space and time, the existence of God, and the future. The work was an instant success, spending more than 4 years atop the London Sunday Times bestseller list. Since its publication, it has sold millions of copies worldwide and been translated into more than 40 languages. Okay. Now here let's see what happened in 1988. Stephen Hawking, who catapulted means launched, published here to international prominence. Prominence means the state of being important or famous or well known. Okay, means international familiarity he got here by this one. With what? With the publication of a book. And what is the name of that book? A Brief History of Time. That was launched, that was published in 1988. The short informative book. How was that book? It was the short informative book that became an account of cosmology for the masses. Masses means common people. And in it he offered an overview of space and time and the existence of God and the future. What these 4 concepts are explained in his book, and he explained very short and informative knowledge, okay, about what? An account of cosmology. To whom? To common people. And overview means what? He offered here in the book overview means summary of a subject. Which subjects are there? Space, time, the existence of God, and the future. The work was an instant success, immediate success. How was that work? That work gave him lot of success, spending more than 4 years atop. How many years it was at the top? 4 years. And it was where? In London Sunday Times. And that was his bestseller, means it was the bestseller list, and in that he was, means the book was for 4 years atop. Since the book's publication, it has sold millions of copies worldwide. Means after the publication, the book here, or Stephen Hawking's book, which book? A Brief History of Time, that sold millions of copies where? Around world, and been translated here more than 40 languages. That was also very important thing related to the book. A Brief History of Time also wasn't as easy to understand as some had hoped. So in 2001, Hawking followed up his book with The Universe in a Nutshell, which offered a more illustrated guide to cosmology's big theories. Now let's see what given here in the last one para of page number 115. A Brief History of Time. This book was not as easy to understand to whom the common people. Okay, means how the common people here hoped in the way the book was not so easy to understand here. So in 2001 Hawking followed up the next one book. What is the name of that book? The Universe in a Nutshell. And that book offered a more illustrated guide to cosmology's big theories. Okay, now we stop here. Today we have seen about Stephen Hawking, the basic information of Stephen Hawking. What? Basic information of Stephen Hawking. After that we have seen about the book A Brief History of Time, and later the universe in a nutshell. The remaining part we will see in the next video. Now we stop here.